The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Well, it's always good to have homecoming at Carson and see all of our old buddies and see a big crowd and see people excited, and I just hope we can play decent enough to keep them in the stands and keep them from talking to each other and watching the ball game. So, but it'll be a great time, Mossy Creek, and it's always. And I think we got the old '96 team showing up that played for the national championship, and then it's Parents' Day, which is always special to some of the kids. It'll be the first time they've played in front of their parents ever, and all those kinds of things make it an exciting day.
Can you really take any of that in as the day happens, or is it something that you reflect on after the fact?
It's a reflection after the ball game, and it's a hallelujah for after the ball game, or maybe before the ball game, when you see people that you hadn't seen in a long time. And I'm hoping I'll be able to spend some time with that '96 crowd, because there were some really special people on that football team, and so I think it could be a great day. We're hoping that one of these days we're going to play football like we're supposed to, and so I'm going to predict it'll be this week. So no, we've got to play better and make some progress, because this team has worked hard enough to have some progress that hasn't showed up yet, and so we keep thinking that one of these days it's going to show up. So we're going to keep working in faith that it will.
You mentioned the '96 team. Two members of that team, Cedric Killings and Mike Clowney, go into the Carson Inman Hall of Fame this weekend, as well, as if there wasn't
really
enough going on.
I didn't even know that. I'm glad you told me. Thanks.
What do you remember about those two and their playing days at Carson Newman?
Well, two great players. Two guys that made a lot of things happen. There've not been many better linebackers. Mike Clowney is in the group of the best 5 linebackers that's ever been at Carson Newman since I've been here, and maybe that's not fair. Maybe higher than that. And then Cedric Killings, of course, had an NFL career where he made things happen and made a lot of things happen for us, and it was always fun to be around and coach, because he's always wanting to get better, and he's always a guy that you could turn your back on and count on. And two great inductees into the Hall of Fame, that's for sure.
We talk about the team finally putting together all phases of the game and executing everything. What has the process been like? What's been, I guess, the stop that's kept them from that, if you can pinpoint anything? Well,
it's just again, the same old thing, not 11 people doing it at the same time. There's always been, a flaw in our execution by all 11 people. And and that's, we keep thinking that that's going to end, and hopefully it will.
Limestone, a first-year head coach, Mike Furry there. What's he done to kind of set that program in the right direction at 5-3 this year?
Well, I don't know. He's doing something right, because, they play hard. And I think that's a compliment to any football coach, maybe the number one compliment, to see how hard his team plays. And they play hard. They play. They've got a plan. And if you'll remember, last year they scored a bunch of points on us, and they did some things because they had some athletes. So I don't think it's like the cupboard was bare when he got there. And so he's taken some of their talent and put it in the right place, and they got some people that are pretty impressive.
Limestane's defense, one of the best teams at turning teams over. I think they have 7 touchdowns this year. One of the best in the nation in those categories. What kind of challenges does that present?
Well, the same challenge every week. Take care of the football. We haven't been doing that. And you look at some of our disaster ball games. it's been on turnovers. It's been, it started with turnovers. And so there's two things that bug the dickens out of me. Number one is the offensive lack of execution that's resulted in turnovers or not blocking the line of scrimmage, and defensive failure on third down. It's been almost predictable for us, and sometime or another we got to get something done with that. And I know we're struggling up front on offense and defense with personnel because we're not playing the people that we want to play and haven't been able to all year. There's not been a time when we had our best 5 offensive linemen, at least in our minds, in the ball game, and there's not been a time. Of course, we've had 2 defensive tackles that hadn't played all year that probably would have been as starters. So,
do you get the sense that the defense is becoming more consistent and maybe they're seeing some of that progress? I know they're still allowing a big drive or 2 a game, but do you get the sense that there's a little more consistency from that group?
I do. I just think that when teams line up and want to mesh us and hit us right in the mouth, then we're vulnerable to that. And that, for a football coach, especially a football coach that believes in hand-to-hand combat, and we're going to win that hand-to-hand combat. That really is that one's frustrating. You don't back down from a fight. If somebody wants to fight, let's go, let's get it done. And used to, that was one of the things that you didn't rile up Carson Newman because they'll fight you until they drop. And so far we hadn't got that one sold completely yet. And of course we're starting 4 or 5 freshmen on both sides of the ball. So come on, we just got to grow up.
Being that there are a lot of youthful players, it's also the last time that these seniors will play at home.
Yes.
What has this group meant to you?
Oh, it's a special group. You go down the line, that's a special group of people. And there's not any of them that are bad characters. They're good people. And that's another thing that's really been hurtful to me is that we haven't produced for them like we should have as a team. And of course they are part of the team, but we're not getting it done like we need to.
What kind of leadership has that group had despite the year that you guys have had this season? What kind of leadership have they had to a lot of those young players?
Well, that's a good question I can't answer. We're lacking something in that area, leadership. Whether it's right now, I think it's because the head coach is not a very good leader, and that's where I'm going to leave it. But we're not getting it done leadership-wise. No.
How does the limestone defense that you're going to go up against Saturday compare to Catawba's 11 on that side of the ball that you played earlier this year?
Well, they got some really flashy football players. They got some guys that, when the ball is snapped, are just flying all over the place. And they got a concept that defensively that's a little bit unusual. They're lined up in a 50 defense and slanting like crazy. And so they got a moving defense, and a moving defense has given us fits this year. We ain't blocked the set still defense very well, much less a moving one. And so they're a good football team. As far as comparing them with Catawba was back in 1902, and I don't remember anything about that.
You look at a guy like Jamal Jones, who has been through pretty much everything you could possibly be through here at Carson Newman, Injuries, some off-the-field struggles. He's been a dynamic player. How has his progression gone from freshman to senior year?
Jamal Jones is a great Carson Newman story. One of those that says, will he make it to how far will he make it? And I really have a great regard for Jamal Jones. He's a real deal in the fact that what you see is what you get, and he's just kept on working. Now he's subject to pull a hamstring tomorrow, or growing or something, But when he's on the field and well, Jamal Jones is a good football player.
As far as just that running back position when healthy, what does he bring to that mixture? What's his best attribute?
Well, probably the fact you're going to get all he's got to ever play. How can a coach ask for more than that when a guy gives all he's got to ever play? Jamal Jones is wide open when he's healthy and going. He's wide open. He's everything we look for in a running back.
Back on the subject of Limestone's defense, and the turnovers. You said it was unique. Does that factor in to all the turnovers that they forced, or is it just a bunch of athletes making plays on the ball?
Well, they've got some athletes making plays, but sure, their scheme has enabled them to create some havoc for offenses that they played against. There's no question about it.
Ivan Corbin, Matthew Harkness have split time at quarterback for them, 10 and 14. Are there any differences to them, or how do you separate the two in your mind?
I don't know. I used to could tell the difference, but now I can't see well enough to see who's in the ball game, so it don't matter. So I just, I'm just looking for results. I'm not looking too much at that other team. I'm looking for us to line up right and tackle like we're supposed to tackle. How you like that answer?
I love that answer. This year obviously has had some frustrations. How do you coach through those frustrations?
Well, you keep the faith. There's one or two things you do. In life, you either trust the Lord or you don't. You either have faith in what you're doing is right, as far as football is concerned, and eventually that there'll be some results from it, or you start grab bagging and start doing all the things that the world says you're supposed to do. Like right now. Yesterday is an example of trusting the Lord and trying to do it in a way that helps kids grow together. And so we had a family time yesterday, a football family time with our football team, where we said, men, we're just going to enjoy each other. So we watched Remember the Titans and ate a chicken dinner. That's what we did. We didn't practice yesterday. And so is that weird? Yeah, probably so. And it cost me more money for the chicken dinner than I wanted to pay, but we had a great time, and I hope that they enjoyed it. And what normal people do and what normal coaching staff does is go out and scrimmage yesterday, and and go beat them to death and say, we're going to beat you until you get it right. And it's again, are we going to coach from inside out, or are we going to coach from outside in? Outside in, to me, is a temporary thing that don't have anything to do with faith. It's got something to do with man's ideas of how to do things. Whereas inside out, you try to make it theirs. Guys, it's got to become yours. You got to buy into this thing, and that's what that's our whole approach. Always has been, always will be. I'm 103, and we're going to keep doing it.